Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Maitri. I'm very passionate about developed and I'm learning to be a better GM, better player, and a better person. And I want to share with you some of the cool stuff that I've been learning. Today we're gonna talk about being kind of sneaky and secretive like in roleplay and really how you can invite your players, your fellow players into that. I'm not talking about like breaking off and doing things solo because like well, obviously like if that's what you're doing as a character, that's what you're doing. I'm specifically referring to you like doing stealthy things while people are around, while the party is around specifically. And I want to talk about how to kind of draw them into the tension of the moment. Fundamentally, tabletops are built on collaboration, so even when your character is pulling off something in secret, there is a lot of fun to be had in lighting the table in to see the attempt. Because the tension isn't just like, do I do it? It's who notices? And like that shared suspense can be just as exciting as the outcome. So, let's say you're playing the rogue or like some sneaky type. If you just say like, and you're breaking in somewhere, if you just say like, I palm the keys so no one notices, like that is totally valid, but you might be skipping the most interesting part, the risk. And it's narrative risk, but still, that tension, that little thrill of like maybe getting caught. And so it's a pretty easy fix. Just add the word try. Say what you are trying to do, not what already happened. So I'm trying to palm the keys so nobody notices. Same action, same role, but now you're giving the GM something to work with. You're giving your party something to react to. You're building a scene, and in that shared suspense I mentioned, you're reminding everybody of the stakes. So yes, be sneaky, but don't be silent. If your character does something that the other party members only find out much later and they can have only a minor reaction to, it might not hit as hard, even if it works perfectly. What makes these moments kind of memorable and come alive is not just the success, but the ripple it can create. So, the story really comes alive when others have a chance to react, to suspect, uncover the truth. Sometimes the powerful moments aren't about pulling things off, it's about who might realize if you did and what kind of reaction would they have. So the next time you are, picking a pocket or like sipping a vial of poison into a goblet, give your fellow players the scene as well. Share your moments, say it out loud. I try to do this hoping nobody notices. Now your party gets to react. Now you've got a story. Tabletop scene needs back and forth. And if you're removing the ability to react, the moment just kind of vanishes. That's what happens in play when you declare, I palm the keys super deftly and nobody notices. You might have succeeded, but there's zero narrative impact from the story's perspective. Basically nothing changed. The rogue now has the keys, but the guard didn't really feel it. There was no real like flicker of suspense of him glancing, or her glancing or whatever. The party didn't hold their breath during like a shared glance. It's as though the keys just kind of teleported into your pocket and you're skipping all the very delicious tension and drama, even for a moment as minor as this. Because this kind of lives in the breathless uncertainty of like, what if? What if I'm seen? What if I'm caught? Like, that's where the story lives. The story lives in the what if, and if you are removing the what if, like, you're removing the story. And honestly, sneakiness isn't interesting because it's secret. It's interesting because it raises the stakes in front of witnesses who are not really witnesses. When you openly say, I tried to bomb the keys so nobody notices, you're handing the table this delicious moment, and everybody loves the gift of a delicious moment in a tabletop. And more importantly, beyond the narrative impact, the bigger issue here is that probably without meaning to, you're kind of removing the agency from the other players. If you just like do stuff the other players can't really weigh in on, that's fundamentally not really good player behavior. And that's kind of what's happening here, By hiding your intent and just declaring outcome, you silently erase the chance for everyone else to engage. Maybe the face would have wanted to run interference and distract the guard. Maybe the wizard may have wanted to cast minor illusion to help. Maybe the paladin would have wanted to, like, confront you about doing something that he considers or they consider immoral. But those character defining choices no longer exist because the cue never reached them. So next time, say the move, build the tension, share the moment, honestly. Like, be sneaky, but let everybody else feel it. Play with your table. And when you aren't boxing them out, like, even really basic shit like this can be electric. Anyway, if you like this video, consider subscribing. But if you don't like notifications or subscriptions, I do have a backlog of stuff. Also have an audio only format, written blog if like those work better for you from like accessibility app stuff. I'm also on a few APs, links to all that in the description. But otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out. Come see me again soon. Bye.